Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Now, some of you don't know this about me, if you don't know me personally, but I like to laugh. I like to make other people laugh. I'm quite funny, actually. Some would even say that I missed my calling and I should have been a stand up comedian. Maybe I'd be like the Sydney Colson of a group. Something tells me I'd probably be a cleaner version of Sydney Colson. Just a feeling I have. So I don't have a problem with a good laugh, with good, clean jokes. But the ESPY Awards, supposed to be fun, supposed to be lighthearted. I haven't watched the ESPY Awards in many years, and last night was no exception. I didn't watch. In fact, I didn't even know it was on. I had heard about Caitlin Clark. Congratulations, CC, and WNBA Player of the Year, but somehow it escaped me that that was actually on last night. So come to find out from the internet, Shane Gillis had a joke that I guess some people would find funny. I didn't even know who Shane Gillis was, but from looking it up, he's a comedian and an actor. Okay, I understand that during these award ceremonies, it's like the joke's on you kind of thing. And I'm imagining that these comedians often don't write their own jokes. I really don't know. So this isn't necessarily about Shane Gillis, because again, I don't know who writes the jokes. We only get to see who delivers the jokes. So he made a joke concerning Caitlin Clark. I know some people would say, hey, you said you have a sense of humor, just enjoy the joke. But this to me is not funny. It's in poor taste and it's very irresponsible. Let's take a look at it. We're going to go over to X because it seems we're always going over to X. And this is an account called Oh No He Didn't. Let's check this out. Now, I'm not sure if I'm in a copyright violation if I play this. So if you're watching me and you don't see this part in a video form, but you just see the words, then you know that YouTube said, no, you don't. So in any case, you're going to see what he said. I'm going to try to play it, but no promises there.
When Caitlin Clark retires from the WNBA, she's going to work at a Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist fighting black women.
Now, perhaps I'm clueless, but I had no idea that Waffle House had some kind of history of issues involving race and discrimination against black people. I had no idea about that. I was attentive to the part that tried to paint Caitlin Clark a certain way, which is the part I'm going to deal with. But if you're like me and you're like, what does this have to do with Waffle House? I'll just give you some background information for context. So I just went into Google and I just typed up something about black people and Waffle House and white people. And this is what I saw. Now, I was literally clueless. Literally. That's not an overstatement. I was clueless. So I just typed in, do white people fight black people at Waffle House? I had no idea. And this is what came up. Multiple lawsuits have been filed against Waffle House alleging racial discrimination, including instances where black customers were reportedly denied service, asked to prepay while white customers were not, or treated differently. Additionally, some high-profile incidents involving police intervention at Waffle House locations have garnered attention, with some individuals alleging racially motivated arrests and excessive force. Civil rights organizations have even called for boycotts of the restaurant chain in response to these concerns. Totally had no idea. The next paragraph says, it is important to note that Waffle House has denied these allegations of discrimination, and some officials have attributed arrests to factors like alcohol consumption and disruptive behavior rather than race. However, the recurring nature of these complaints and the involvement of civil rights organizations highlight ongoing concerns about potential race bias in some interactions at Waffle House establishments. So my internet decided to go bonkers for a little bit. Hang in there. It doesn't last long, less than 2 minutes, but it sounds funny. It looks funny for a little bit, but you can make out what's going on. And again, it doesn't last long at all. Sorry about that, but make sure you hang in there. It gets better really fast. Who knew? Again, I didn't. All I know is I heard a joke about Caitlin Clark retiring from the WNBA, going to work at Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist fighting black women. I guess it's supposed to be funny, right? That's the point. The problem is, I think it's irresponsible. And maybe in another time with another athlete other than Caitlin Clark in a different sport, in a different league, I don't know. Maybe it would be okay. But the nature of the joke, it gives the impression that Caitlin Clark is going after black women, that Caitlin Clark is seeking to fight black women, that Caitlin Clark is racist. Can we just say it? That's the nature of the joke. Like Waffle House apparently has a reputation for going after black people. So the constant connection is there once again about Caitlin Clark and her being racist. They say it about her fans, which is a way to say it about her, and it's ongoing. They expect her to answer for all the racial issues in the world. They expect her to acknowledge that she's got white privilege. They're expecting her to admit to the sin of whiteness and the sin of racism. And I don't care if it's supposed to be a joke. It's an irresponsible joke. It's a low joke. And it's not funny because this league has an issue with whether you want to talk about Asia Wilson and her saying about Caitlyn has white privilege and that's why people like her, or Dejanay Carrington saying that, oh, it must be nice to not have to take on the cares of the world, or first game of the season and you go to Chicago and then supposedly people are making monkey noises in this whole investigation, and Angel saying she heard it, and and it's just been a whole lot of stuff that's ongoing. When you go to something like the ESPYs, you're there to be awarded something that is phenomenal, and continue to hear jokes about your whiteness and as if you are going after or putting down black people. When the truth of the matter is that in this league, it's Caitlin Clark who has been the target. And we can see that from the beginning of her WNBA career all over. I mean, we can just look at Kennedy Carter. Caitlin Clark wasn't looking for a fist fight with Kennedy Carter. Caitlin Clark didn't get up and go after Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark, if you want to go back before the WNBA, Caitlin Clark didn't go around after an NCAA game and chase around anybody. So the narrative is rather interesting to me, and it's just what they want to promote, and that is to associate her and her fans with racism. And it's irresponsible, particularly in a league where people are clearly jealous of her, where officials don't do their job. So people are not even protected like they should be. And I don't mean protected by special treatment like some people get. I mean protected as in you do your job so that I'm not getting jacked up by jealous people. And then you push this whole narrative and people jump right on it, and it's ongoing. We can go back to last year when it was Serena Williams presenting an award. So let's do that. Let's go back to last year. Same exact narrative. You change the characters. The narrative is still the same because you kept the main character the same. And that, of course, is Caitlin Clark. So we're going to go over to Tyler DeLuca's X account and flashback to last year.
Caitlin Clark had an amazing year and is nominated for 3 awards. Caitlin, you are the Larry Bird in that you are an amazing player. You have ties to Indiana, and white people are really crazy about you.
Now, maybe that seems a little bit more low key than this year. That one was just suggesting that white people are attracted to you. Not that black people could be, but white people are attracted to you. And of course, the suggestion there is that it's because you're white that they're attracted to you, and you attract those kinds of people who would be interested in you because you're white. This one is about you being aggressive and actually trying to go after black people. Again, the suggestion being that you have a problem with black people. And so you're gonna go after black people in some kind of fist fight. That's the suggestion there. Not that they think that you're gonna be out there fighting everybody, but it's the whole race thing that obviously they're trying to push, which is rather interesting because you've got Dan Dockage from Outkick and you have Jason Whitlock, both who have said that Caitlin Clark talks smack, flops, talks smack some more, and then runs away. So the joke is suggesting that she's starting fistfights because people are black, but the other folks out there are saying she's too scared. She's just talking smack, and then she runs away. Cheryl Swoops, of course, also said, why you running away? I think that this is a dangerous narrative disguised as a joke, again, because you're dealing with the WNBA. You're dealing with the whole race issue with the WNBA. And frankly, people are tired of it. People are tired of the false narratives about race. People want to watch athletes, watch entertainers, just enjoy the product and not have people constantly accusing people of racism, constantly pointing out that you're white, you're black. And again, if you know me, you know I don't have a problem talking about race at all. Like, I'm clearly black. You don't do me any favors by not mentioning that I'm black. But that's all these people want to do. It's all they want to do is race bait. And then you get Caitlin Clark on the court, and then she becomes the target. Let's just enjoy the sport and cut out the race baiting. It's tired, it's old, and frankly, it's irresponsible. I wish we lived in a culture where it didn't have to be like this, where you didn't have to say, okay, is this going to cause, a particular player to bug out, blow up, talk about how they're, just stop. Just stop. Not funny. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.